Hey folks, this is Kalani. Been getting a few questions about karma. Now, just to bring folk into the loop, karma was actually hit really badly, and it was kind of a triple poke, shall we say. The main sources of karma were hit pretty badly, as well as something else which I'll touch on. So, kind of to get things started, daily and monthly was one of the largest contributors to karma. This was because whenever you completed your daily, you got a jug of karma, and every time you completed your monthly, you got 10 jugs of karma. Now, jugs of karma were worth 4,000 karma each, and you could stack boosters up to 95%, I believe, which would basically allow you to nearly double the value of that jug. Although I seem to remember getting up to 9,000 for some of them. Basically, you used a 50% booster, either from a bonfire, from a booster itself. You used a 10% banner, 5% from food, 5% from your guild, and then 15% from the Karmic Infusion, which you can put into Ascended Amulets. Now, the first thing that they did was they changed it so that no consumables which awarded karma could be affected by boosters. So that automatically just destroyed the value of pretty much karma consumables. The second thing they did was changed where karma consumables are awarded. So dailies now award a 600 value karma consumable, which is flat. You can't change it, can't boost it, 600 per daily completed, and your monthly awards one for 6,000. Now, right ahead, just straight up there, that is a huge loss in karma that we are now having to experience, which is kind of crazy. Imagine that every daily that you're doing was worth 10 times the karma, and every monthly was 10 times the karma. It gets a little silly. Now, obviously that's probably why they changed it, so that karma didn't get too far out of hand with some people. I know people who have stockpiled millions of karma, simply because there's nothing they can be bothered to do with it. Now, the third thing which was affected was champion loot bags. Now, they actually dropped a karma consumable, and it was the lowest karma consumable rather, but while you could still boost it, it was still worth stockpiling them and then just breaking your finger clicking through them. But they removed those as well. You no longer get karma from champion loot bags. So, we missed a huge amount from the champion loot bags, from the dailies, and we can't even boost them anymore. Now, I guess there is a silver lining in that every karma consumable is now worth more than what it was, but it's not worth as much as what it used to be with boosts, which is still kind of annoying, but never mind. There are still a few ways to get karma. And that's why I'm down here at the Fractals of the Mists. This is probably one of the best ways to get karma right now. You need to complete yourself a set of fractals. Now, if you're new to Fractals, when you go inside, you'll basically start at Personal Reward Level 1. Now, Personal Reward Level is very important because that actually dictates how much karma you'll get from the end of this. You won't get karma if the difficulty scale or the difficulty of the fractal you're running is your Personal Reward Level or higher. So you will actually need to have already done Fractals of the Mists. Quite a considerable amount, actually, for this to be worth the karma. Going in, you'll need to take a decent amount of boosters if you want to make this worthwhile, but I don't know. Basically what you need to do is get to a decent level of fractals, preferably above 10. The way this works is that you get karma based upon the difficulty you're doing. Now, once upon a time you could only go into fractals which were your personal reward level or lower. Now you can go into any, but anything which is higher than your personal reward level will not give you karma. It will give you a personal reward level, so you can go up and up and up. But if you get that personal reward level, there's no kind of compensation side, which is where the karma comes in. People needed an incentive to run lower level fractals, otherwise there's just no point in doing it. So basically taking your difficulty scale down and running a fractal lower than your personal reward level will give you a nice chunk of karma. So the way this is calculated, and this is from the wiki, so you can head on over there and check that out. If you want to do that, /wiki karma in game, Hit that and that'll take you to the wiki page for karma. Obviously it'll show you all the different means to obtain karma, but if you go down to the Fractals of the Mist section and click options, you can see how things are calculated. Apparently it's calculated at 6,400 plus 8 times the difficulty level completed times your reward level minus the level completed. Now that caps at 10, so the most karma you can get is 10 below your personal reward level. And obviously, if things are taking that into account, the most karma you can get is at level 40, when your personal reward level is 50, so that's the very most karma you can get from Fractals of the Mist. Now apparently, according to the wiki, you can get up to 12,000 karma, but using that formula, you can only get about 8,000 from doing level 40 when your personal reward is 50. So there's something skewy there, but I do know that boosters work on this. I'd recommend you use the boosters just before the end, but that's kind of not ideal either, because then you can't really get anything else from those boosters, because Fractals can take a very long time. So Fractals is probably one of the best ways to get karma right now, if A, you know what you're doing, B, you've already done it before, so you've got a nice level to work with, and C, you know a group or can get a group which can run through it nice and peacefully. Getting stuck in Fractals is the worst thing to happen, because you're either not getting out for a long time, or you're not getting out for a long time. Or I suppose you can leave and just not get anything at all, but that's a waste of time, guys, and we hate that, don't we? So that's one option, but there are a few other options when it comes to farming karma, so we'll have a little look-see. Okay, so the next source of karma I want to talk about is events. Now, I'll touch quickly on Renown Hearts, because they do give quite a nice chunk of karma, but only if you need them for 100% completion. So if you're going for 100% completion and want karma, completing your hearts is a decent way to do it. So there's that as well, but what I want to focus on is events. Now, the main thing I want to focus on is event cycles, because, let's be honest, if there's no event waiting for you after the event you just completed, you're going to be spending a huge chunk of time not earning karma, and that's not efficient, and we don't like inefficiency. So, you preferably want an event cycle. Now, a great one that I know is down in Queensdale. This is actually the champion farming, simply because every champion that spawns here is part of an event, rather. So, the main little trek that people seem to be doing involves the troll, which is down in this area here. It's a little bit of a pain, but down near Vale Waypoint, so you've got the champion troll. Then you've got a champion oak heart over at the Great Heart Weald, that's near Finney Waypoint. Up from that, we've got a boar, which spawns near the hunting lodge. This boar will spawn on the north side, give or take, and then you've got a champion spider which will spawn just behind the hunting lodge. So you've got 4 champions, and they're usually nicely in cycles, so that basically when you've killed the previous one, the next one should be up, unless there's people messing with the cycle, or people not running around with the main focusing group. But never mind, people will do what people will do, let's be honest, and if things mess up, you can always find another champion farming route, or event farming route rather. Usually there's folk who are helpful in Mapture. If you ask what champion they're on, they'll tell you, so you can happily run over and join them instead of kind of having to wait around at one of them for someone to show up. So it's pretty nice. Obviously I can't really talk for other servers, that's what it's like on Gandara, which is my home server. But there are these all over the place. The problem is a group to do them. If you've got group events like these are, you're kind of in a bit of a pinch, because if you can't complete it yourself, you're going to either need to assemble a group yourself, or kind of hope there's one already doing it. Queensdale is perfect for 2 reasons. A, it's a low level area, which means that you can either take your alts and get the karma on them. Yes, it will be lower karma values if you take a lower character, but you'll actually get a decent amount of experience, meaning that if you wanted to get a few levels on another character, you can happily do that through this event farming, as well as getting the karma. And secondly, it's nicely accessible. You don't have to run a constant, like, it's not down in Ore, it's not over in Frostgorge, it's not at the end of the world, it's right next to Divinity's Reach, so there's literally no excuse for you not being able to get here, even if you're like my Mesmer and have no waypoints. But aside from that, it's nice, it's neat, and people already know it, which is the key thing. Obviously, there are farming groups down in Ore, here and then. I know my guild does a farming group on Fridays, where it basically blows through any events we find down there. That's a really nice karma boost. But apart from that, it's... I don't know, it's just not ideal if you don't have the group. You need the group to do the events down in Ore, because they need to be done quickly. Remember that it's the event completion that you need. This isn't farming for mobs and basically not completing an event. The event completion is what you seek for the karma, meaning that if the event isn't completing very fast, you're not getting a decent amount of karma per time spent, meaning it's not efficient. And you know what we don't like? We don't like inefficiency. So, Queensdale's probably one of the nicest ones to do. It's quick, it's nice and easy to learn, people already know it, and there's usually always people here. Hell, I'm here at 6 AM, and people are still doing it. The brilliant thing here is that you don't actually need a lot of people because, as I say, it's a low-level area. You probably get around 200 base karma, thereabouts, for each of these events. So obviously these wacky boosters on top. Go farming for an hour and you've got yourself a nice chunk of karma. As I say, things aren't as easy as they used to be. There is one last place that I want to look at for karma gathering, and that's World vs. World. We're in World vs. World. Now, I'm in my home Borderlands, and the reason I don't like World vs. World specifically for karma farming is because of how you get it. Now, even though you can get a lot of karma, do not get me wrong, karma is attained pretty much with whatever you do in the Borderlands. Quite literally. Go kill caravans? Karma. It's an event. Go kill guards, sentries? Karma. It's an event. Camps, towers? Karma, karma, karma. The problem is how they come up. Farming caravans is an awful way to do it, but you have to keep the camp an enemy camp, meaning that you don't go for it. You can run around collecting camps, but you're not going to be able to get karma for them again until they become an enemy camp, meaning that trading camps and towers becomes more profitable for karma, which is always going to be an issue depending on how seriously your world takes World vs. World. Now, right now, we're kind of in a bit of a pinch. We're against Desolation and Underworld. Now, right now we're winning, but Desolation has a good hold on pretty much half the map, by the looks of things. That means that if you have a night team, which Gandara severely lacks, you can actually go ahead and take over as much as you can be bothered to, and get a lot of karma for it. But it's a one-time deal. You can run around all of the battlegrounds, all of the Borderlands, take all of everything, but if no one's there to contest you, then you sort of don't have those again until they're taken back, which is the other side. If your world is highly dominant in World vs. World, this isn't going to work for you. On the other side of that, if your world has no World vs. World presence, you're not going to be able to take anything either. So, while World vs. World does work really well, if A, it's even, main thing has to be even, or at least decently balanced, and stuff has to be taken, and it has to trade hands. There needs to be contestation between you and another world for these camps, for these towers, for them to trade hands so you can take them back. Now, obviously the best scenario for that is for you to push them out, them to push you back out, you to push them. Then you don't quite feel like it's trading karma. But it's going to happen at the end of the day anyway. I know some worlds specifically will run around in a karma train, literally in a circle of the Borderlands. You'll go all around. They'll take the camps, they'll take the towers, they'll take the camps, they'll take the towers, but they'll do it in a full circle, meaning that basically when they get down to the bottom camp, there's another karma train of the opposing world at the top taking that camp back. So they are literally trading karma in a circle. Now, that's the most efficient way to get karma, but that's not ideal in A, your world may not like you trading things back to the enemy, and B, that's not always going to happen. In fact, that's going to be very, very limited in the amount of cases. So, I mean, I don't know. You guys, if you love World vs. World, go happily have some fun and grind some karma. And everything else you World vs. World players get to do. But if you're looking just for the karma, I'd suggest trying to find some decent event chains. I'd highly recommend Queensdale. It's efficient, it's nice, etc. If you are a fan of Fractals, that's a really nice way to do things. But in all of these, remember, if it's not a consumable, your boost will work. Boosters are there for a reason, to give you more of what you're wanting to farm. So there's a few extra ways to grab yourself karma. Now, I completely bashed on the daily and monthly earlier, but put it this way. The small amount of karma you get from your daily and monthly is karma that you didn't have before, so they are still worth doing. Not to mention the laurels are probably the most worthwhile currency in the game right now, because they're so limited in how you can get them. So, a few little hints, tips, extras, whatever you want to call them, for getting yourself a little bit more karma. Before you leave, remember to hit that like button below, and if you're not subscribed, it's something to consider. We're crazy, but we're the good kind of crazy. So thanks for watching, folks. Good luck and have fun, and as always, I'll see you next time.